Here I am, agents. Signed, sealed, delivered. It's yours. Okay, so what we're going to do today is speak to the K Plus agent dashboard and show you what is going to be sent to your contacts and what is going to be sent to you via the system. So these are some really important factors for you to think about as you're setting up your different types of communications, follow-up, and just in general, so you know what's going to be sent out via the system and what you should expect from the system itself as an agent using K+. All right, so we're going to go through this sheet here, and I've linked in the information so you can actually click on these and look at the articles and so forth. So what we're going to discuss first is what is sent to your leads. And a real fun fact here to keep in mind is that every link that you're sending out from your K+ agent dashboard will always lead people back to you, the agent, which is a key factor. So whenever you're creating listing alerts, whenever we're sending out behavioral communications based on leads, online activity, when we're sending out drip campaigns, these are all designed to bring people directly back to you, even when you create a link, if you get a squeeze page or a landing page. So it's always about you 24/7, 365, which is really what it should be. So the first thing we're going to tackle are the automated behavioral communications. So there's really three types of communication that we're going to be triggering out for you. The first one is the automated behavioral. So basically it's saying, hey, if I'm one of your leads and I go to your website, and maybe I've been gone for 2 weeks or more, or I saved a property, viewed it 5 times, 3 times or more, this is something that you, an agent, is going to be apprised of via K+. And there's a couple of ways of which you can get that information on your dashboard or a push alert on the app. So to look at the different types of automated behaviorals, you can actually log into your dashboard. So you'll have your agent dashboard open, and then you're going to place your cursor up here in your browser. And you're just going to backspace a little bit here and type in sample.php at the top. So you're going to get rid of the dashboard PHP and put in sample.php. So this will be your link. And I did hyperlink that right here. So you can go directly into the doc and click here. And you need to have your dashboard open, but it'll open up that page for you. And when you get here, you're going to see all of these static communications of which K+ has designed purposefully and crafted over a good 18-month period to make sure they are short and sweet, written like the agent wrote the communication, and they're all written to be engaging and invite a communication as well. So you can actually scroll through these and see all of the different types of emails or texts that may be triggered. So for instance, here's an example. So if someone's looked at a property 5 times, we're going to send out one of these 5 communications. Now this is only going to go to the statuses that are specifically new or active lead. So once you switch them to client, it's going to remove, I'm going to say 95% of these automated communications. The only 2 that are going to keep going forward for someone is if they have saved a property. And what will happen is if they've saved a property and they have the property is reduced, the system will automatically recognize that reduction and send out a text and or email to that person saying, hey, heads up, this is reduced by this much. Or if it's off market, we will also proactively recognize that information, that the person has saved it, it's different on the MLS. We'll send them an information saying, hey, heads up, it's off the market. I'm going to be sending you some properties that are similar. And the thing is, you already are sending them properties that are similar because you have taken the step of setting up listing alerts, which is part of those communications we're going to go over in just a moment. So you've got all of these different scenarios of the automated behaviorals. And again, these are all designed to be super engaging and encourage response and to appear organic, like you wrote the message yourself. Now, I know some people are like, well, hey, why can't I edit these? So there are 2 examples of which you can edit. They're at the top here. So you have these little welcome emails, right? So whenever a new lead lands in the system, there is a default welcome that will go out within the first 15 minutes of that lead registration. And that's what goes out to the lead, which in turn also triggers our data validation on the back end that lands on the Notes tab. You can create your own drip campaigns with your own crafted welcome here if you'd like. And that will be covered within drip campaigns on a separate training to edit a drip. All right, so let's go ahead and move down to drip campaigns. So drip campaigns can be really sent to any status with the exception of archived or unsubscribed contacts. These are going to be connecting to new lead and active lead status by default. Now on your agent dashboard, you can actually edit or create drip campaigns for any of these statuses. You can even trigger them with a hashtag. So to find where your drip campaigns live, you'll go to your dashboard, click on your name, upper right, and then My Settings. Now, once My Settings loads up, within this top section, it says Update Your Settings. Within this section, just about towards the bottom of it, this last section here, you'll see what campaigns you may have assigned to specific types of contacts. So you'll be able to see if you've created one for new leader drip, if you have a seller drip on there aside from the conversion defaults that may connect, and if you've created one specifically for Sphere Client Closed. So you would need to go into your system and create drip campaigns for these types of contacts and then apply it. And then anytime you affect any change in this area from top to bottom, you always click Update Settings to save your work. Now, as we speak to triggering drifts with hashtags, we're going to scroll to the very bottom of this page. So again, we got here by clicking on our name, My Settings, and drip campaigns you have created or imported onto your own dashboard for your own use to edit and apply will live at the very bottom of this page. So if you get down to the bottom and you're like, hey, there's no drips here, no big deal. It just means you haven't specifically imported or created a drip yet. So as we scroll down, when we're adding a new drip campaign, we can say, I want to create a drip campaign for recruiting, or maybe it's for homes in Vancouver. Maybe I'm going to target my whole city or something. I can say whenever a hashtag lands with Evergreen School District, or maybe it's homes near Evergreen School District. You could create a campaign for that particular niche or target or whatever you're seeking, and you can create that hashtag and say, well, whenever a hashtag lands with this on it, it's going to trigger this campaign. And then you would create the name of your campaign, and then you would create the body within the campaign. And there is a separate training on how to create drip campaigns, but I want to make sure you understand where this goes and what it can do. Now, going to listing alerts, it's really, really imperative that you make the effort of setting up those listing alerts via K+ dashboard for those contacts. We pull these results directly from the MLS of which you're connected with your brokerage. And then that traffic in turn lands on your dashboard whenever that person clicks on that link and comes back to your website to view properties. So you're always apprised of what they've seen on the activity tab on a contact. Now, there's other tools that also rely on the data pull for results. So via Quick Actions, we have a tool via mass email or mass text, where if you send an email about a listing or send an email to a certain criteria or text, we're going to be pulling everyone's viewing habits from them clicking links from your listing alerts, from the links of which you send them, to base this data pull from. So it's a pretty neat deal. If you go back to your dash and you click the Quick Actions here at the top right, and then mass email and or mass text, you can actually drop an MLS number in here and click Find Leads. And the system will compare that MLS number to the viewing habits of your folks and say, okay, based on these comparisons, these folks may be a good fit for this listing. And then you can contact them. You can also put in a text to a certain criteria about a certain town, property type, min-max, and build a list here, and then create a text and send it to that grouping. So when you create those listing alerts and you're inviting people back to your site, we're then holding on to that information because we like to hold on and keep our arms around that info for you and make it available to expand the tools of which you have to target people, which is pretty neat. Now, hashtags can also trigger listing alerts, which is pretty neat. So if we go back to our settings at the top right, My Settings, just above the area of which where we looked at drips at the bottom, you know, you could create your drip campaign to trigger off of a specific hashtag, and then you could also think about, okay, well, maybe I want this specific hashtag to trigger a listing alert. So you could say whenever the hashtag pool lands, I want single family homes in Orange County or whatever, or Sleepy Valley, single family and condos. So you can set this information up. You could say, well, whenever, you know, Evergreen School District lands, I want single family homes in this area to land. And you can put in the area and go from there, and then the min price, max frequency, and add. All right, so let's go back to the list here. Now, the last section here is, you know, what are some other things of which I can create and utilize to help bolster my reach to my folks and get their attention. So we have many different types of reports and newsletters that you can have going out as well, depending on the type of status. So the first of which is a market report, and you'll be able to see the sample of the market report on this samples.php. So if you scroll down on that link, it's towards the bottom. You know, it's a very simple text-based, basic, you know, email. It does not have any HTML, and it's just basically a market report for a specific zip code set. Oops, wrong screen, sorry about that. Now, the market report goes out every month. It can go to any type of lead, whether it's seller, buyer. Statuses, it goes to a sphere, new lead, active lead, and closed. And you manually set this up on that person's dashboard, on their own profile overview page. Now, we also have the weekly traffic report. The weekly traffic report, I think it was right above this. Yeah. So the weekly traffic report is really handy for you to put in motion when you have someone who's actually has a listing with you. You can send them this nice little concise report, and all you need to do is drop the MLS number on that seller tab for their overview, and you can trigger this immediately to go out once a week. Now, the weekly traffic report is for the seller type, and it can go to statuses of client or contract. Next, we have the monthly seller valuation, and again, that's a monthly, and it can go out to any contact type, and it's going to all statuses with the exception of archived can be set up to receive this. The monthly seller valuation is right below this one, and it's an HTML product, but basically it's going to say, hi, this is the property estimate for that area at your home at this address. It's estimated to be this worth this much. And I know some people might be going, oh, gee, well, it has a computer-generated number, but really, this is your opportunity to engage with that person, let them know that, hey, you know, I want to be in there to see it in person to get you a correct generated number, because we can't see within the home. We want to get that opportunity to make time and, you know, talk with this person, get to know their home, and get them an accurate number. So it gives you that foot in the door of starting to build that relationship, make the appointment. And last but not least, we have the Sphere newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter, and it will automatically go to the Sphere status within K+. Now, there is one thing you need to be aware of here. When we pull the Sphere status newsletter, the user, aka you, the agent, must have at least one blog posted for the newsletter to trigger, because it's pulling blog information as part of this simple newsletter. So the monthly Sphere newsletter is going to be a nice simple letter that you can send out to those folks, and it basically is just about, you know, the median price home in this area went down to this percentage to this price, total number of new properties went up this percentage to this with an average time on the market of X amount of days. It includes a link to the latest blog, and your contact information. And last but not least, we have the market report. And this is going to give you the median home for the zip code that you're going to set up on an individual contact. And it'll tell them the properties, market days, similarly to the Sphere newsletter, only it also includes listing counts, zip code averages, and then a link to that full report for that particular zip code. And this is, again, something you can set up on the Overview tab of that particular contact. All right, so that wraps up what we send out for you for leads and contacts, and what you could in fact change to or sign them up for. And again, you can review this information and you can click on these and go directly to the articles, or click here to see like the sample examples, drip campaigns, and so forth. Now let's go ahead and buzz on down here to what is sent to me. So as an agent, what should you expect from us and keep your peepers open for? So the first of which is, when you launch, when your admin owner has added you as a seat within that brokerage, within that team, you'll get a welcome letter from Conversion Plus. So if you've been set up recently and they're saying, hey, you should be expecting this and you didn't get it, please make sure to ask your admin to send it again. Next, there are lead action alerts of which you can set up. So this is really cool. You can actually set up a push notification on your desktop that will actually push onto your app, or you can do it via your app, either way, but you can access it both. And you can get apprised if a lead has triggered some type of a behavioral. So this speaks to, if they've been gone 2+ weeks or more, saved a listing, updated their front end alerts, looked at a specific listing 5 times. So this ties in to those notifications those contacts are triggering on your website. So you can actually say, okay, well, whenever that person triggers something to me as a heads up, I want to be apprised of specific occurrences. So to take a look for this, you're going to go to your dashboard, and this ties into this little notification guy up here. So when someone has triggered a behavior online, you click on your little, I just call it the yield sign, and it shows you if someone has saved a listing, someone has requested to go see a listing, revisited after downtime. All of these are reasons to get a hold of someone and have a conversation. So this is like your visual here. You can also set up a push notification on your app, which is pretty slick. So to do that, you're going to click on your name upper right, and then My Settings. Sensing a theme, we keep going back to My Settings here. And you'll scroll down, and you'll look at Lead Alerts. So you can say, well, actually, whenever something comes in that are looking in the Evergreen School District with a data validation number of 3 or higher, so like how good is that information that came in with that lead verification, I want to be alerted of that. I want to be alerted when that hashtag lands in with a 3 or plus data validation has saved a listing. I want to know about it. Add alert. So you can set these up to alert you with specific things and actions, which is pretty neat. The same goes for like new lead notifications. Whenever you accept a lead from us, like say we call you and you accept that lead by pressing 1 or 2 on your phone, you're going to receive a push notification and an email from us saying, yes, you accepted the lead, here's their information. You'll also receive an email with us on the daily call reminders. So on your dash, when you're looking at your calls to make on that little old school handset, you've got at least 5 calls minimum to make a day, and the system will give you the heads up here on the app, on that notification there, and you can also check your email for that. If you have an inbound phone call from a lead, let's say that I am one of your contacts, and you've got my phone number in the system, and I call you, but I call the smart number. K+ is savvy, and it knows that my cell number or my business number or my home number is in the system for you as a contact. It will recognize it's tied to you and directly send me to you immediately as a contact, and you can pick up and talk with me right away. Also, if someone transfers or shares a lead with you within the system, you're going to receive an email from us as well. So that wraps up the different kinds of communications of which to watch for that are going out to the leads via K+ for you to help with your marketing and business and free up your time. And then also what is sent to you from an agent perspective, what should I be expecting or what can I set up to help apprise myself of opportunity? I really hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions anytime, please don't hesitate to chat with support at the bottom right-hand side of your dashboard or drop us an email, support@insiderealestate.com. Have a great day.